Ashford kid and young Peak to basically, if Halen died, to blow up our castle. That's like what was his secret mission. But after Desmond talked to him, he was like, you know what? Fuck those guys. I like you better. This is much better than whatever they offered me. I'm not going to blow anything up. And Desmond was like, well, that's great. So now that's sorted. But it's also interesting to see that both Ashford and young Peak wanted to blow us up. Also, Halen actually argued with them, I think, or with Surajamas not to do it because he didn't want his family to burn to a crisp if he died. So that was kind of nice of Halen to also want that. Moving on, the infamous guests arrived. Lord Butterwell being very gregarious, Prince Maekar being very dour, and Butterwell trying to basically convince Desmond / the house to back Lord Dondarrion instead of Lord Selmy, because Butterwell had defeated Lord Selmy in a duel after inciting him to go into a duel with him, basically taking him out of the running. Instead, he wants Dondarrion to be up there because Dondarrion is very pliable to what Butterwell and the king wants, which is the demilitarization of the marshes, removing of the martial lord's privileges, and raising taxes. He would offer a lot of money in return for this, so it's very lucrative money-wise. But yeah, with the coming war, that seems like a pretty bad idea. But that's what he wants. Being unable to convince him otherwise, Desmond, although Desmond and Laenys certainly tried a whole damn lot to do so, he was unmovable. He wouldn't hear of it. Instead, they had to seek allies at another place, which would be the Prince Maekar, who was unimpressed by our engineers and pressed poor Sir Alaric in a trial trial by fire questioning, which the poor knight was sweating a lot under.
He was not prepared.
He was not prepared for the prince's questions and made a little bit of a fool of himself, maybe in the prince's eyes, but. All of that shall be redeemed because he has prepared a very impressive demonstration of military tactics and explosions for him today. Talking to the prince, Laenys and Desmond basically got an alternative. The prince saying, yes, trick Butterwell, get his approval and his seal of approval and his backing, but use that backing to subvert him and present someone else than Dondarrion. Present someone who is old and experienced and preferably with some battlefield prowess, and that won't bow down and won't demilitarize and will either come to the defense of the realm when that is needed, when Blackfire arrives, or at least stay out of it and not help him. Which left us with 3 candidates, in my view, which would be Lord Tarley, Lord Swan, or Lord Peacebury. We can discuss a little bit which one of them we want to back later on, but that's that. And Nima was out in the inn, spying on Halen, trying to figure out exactly what was up with him, and she heard some stuff that I'm actually not sure exactly what she heard because I had to step away at that moment. But maybe Tina can recap exactly what she heard.
Well, there was a lady in there with Gorman and Halen. A certain Lady Arwen, not like Lord of the Rings. She said, I always get my way, because I've worked hard to get it. And apparently the old Gormy, her father, does not like her as much anymore, for some reason. And apparently the Pike needs a new leader. Gorman basically was like, I have no choice when it comes to whatever you say. Yeah, the grandfather. Well, he doesn't like Lady Arwen as he used to. He likes her father better now. Gorman was basically having no choice, but he is not really into what she says. He's not really. He's like, no, I don't think it's a good idea. But apparently, she just always gets her way. Halen. Does not want to what's it called? He does not want to answer to Arwen, but for some reason he made a promise to her, a vow, So he has to. That's what they said.
And she also discovered Halen and Gorman the Younger sleeping in the same tent, which was
It was
possibly
so
very
cute.
romantic.
It was so cute.
Which was possibly very romantic, and then she left a message.
I left a message saying, "We know your secret," and then left the vulture, the vulture emblem at the letter.
Then she turned into a bat and flew away into the night, cackling.
And I also saw Bree's teacher. Apparently, he is not a stranger when it comes to a good deed. That's
which turned out very fun for him when he tries that.
I look forward to it.
But yeah, I think that was it.
Yeah, I got a gold from Gorman. He's like, "Oh, I can afford it. Soon I'll be a big lord. So here, take a gold. I know it will make you a target for others, but what do I care?" Oh yeah, and I poisoned his guy.
Yes. And yourself.
Not enough so that I couldn't work, so that's fine. And it was hilarious to see that the
Alright.
guy who owned that inn was like, "Caladan, go!"
So it'll still be a few days before Halen returns to the castle. And in those days... You're not done?
No, you totally forgot that Ema was gonna approach them.
What?
You forgot that? Ema's gonna approach Halen.
No, I know.
Isn't that before they come home, though?
Yeah, he's not coming home yet. There's still a few days before Halen comes home.
Oh, I thought you said when he came home. Oh, sorry.
Yes.
Sorry. Never mind. I'll
Yes.
you.
And in those days, you'll have to deal with Lord Butterwell and the Prince. They're certainly not leaving just yet, as Lord Butterwell is here with an agenda. An agenda, I think, is at this point pretty clear. And that is to, as it happens, make you back Lord Dundarian and the disarmament and peace work in the marshes. He has arranged a meeting with Desm and Lenus, another one, that is. But he's really going to be here all the time, and that is why these couple of days, at least, will become, or will do them, as a complex intrigue. Basically, how this is going to work, I haven't really had one since the trial, but how this is going to work is that he will try, and his people will try to make you comply with his desires. He will try to compel you to do so, either by convincing you or making you his friend or threatening you, however he may do it. And if he should win this complex intrigue, well, it's very likely that you will be compelled to do so. However, should you win this complex intrigue, you will have the same sort of power over him. A complex intrigue is won by the party who achieves the victory points first, basically. Well, you get to have something, you get to do something that will have major consequences. So, of course, you can begin to think now, while I explain the rules of this complex intrigue, about what sort of thing you would want to have out of your, should you actually win this intrigue. Your desire, something to convince them, a service, information. There's quite a few things that can be suggested here. I'm sure you'll have lots of ideas. Regardless, this complex intrigue will be finished when one party, generally being House Caladan, against Lord Butterwell. Whoever gets 4 victory points first will win. How this is going to work, because we're not really in a trial situation, is that each party will take turns starting a simple intrigue in some place, in some circumstance, where they perhaps might have a benefit, and then play that out. Whoever wins that intrigue gets the victory point. Say, for example, Oh, yes, of course, Lord Butterwell. We had arranged a hunt. Of course, you have to come to this hunt, and we can talk of things while we hunt. Whoever is good at hunting might be less frustrated and have an easier time of actually concentrating on something that's not hunting while doing a hunt. As such, whoever is good at hunting at such a place would have the benefit there, basically. In that way, you will be able to sort of take turns to arrange your own scenes, so to speak, with the opponent. In addition to this, the teams will always have to be in equal numbers. Lord Butterwell is incredibly good at what he does. He is probably one of the best in the realm at what he does. So fighting him, or talking to him, that is, one-on-one, might not be advisable. He has only really brought his son, who is sort of also a good talker. Other than that, he has the Hand of the King he can call upon, and after that, it would be standard knights, who are tertiary NPCs and not really good at much except for like their primary thing, which is fighting, turns out. As such, favor having more people generally give you some benefit, because you're generally better than his people. Each of these small intrigues also has their own little impact. Say if you defeat someone with charm in an intrigue, you can raise their opinion of you, or you can convince them of something, or you can intimidate them and make them more pliable in the next intrigue you battle them in. Using your techniques in this way sort of makes the flow of the intrigue, the complex intrigue, sort of shift a bit around. There are quite a few things you can do in a team-based intrigue, and so I've added these clarification macros that you can read should you decide to know what sort of options there are. I've also made 2 tables available up there where we can see the dispositions and the techniques, what they use, just so we don't have to look in the book all the time. Yes, so I suppose the first thing I would then ask you is to talk amongst yourself a little bit and agree on what sort of thing you would want to accomplish should you actually win.
Well,
Beat you to it, however. But yes. What kind of massive political implications do we want to bring up here?
I mean, the most obvious would be like you, Butterwell, like don't demilitarize the marshes, you dick. Like leave us alone, or like help us. I mean, I don't know. I just want to stop his plan. I just think that.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have like an idea of a favor I would like, because I always viewed him as basically unbeatable in a way. Like this is something he can just slam his hand down and auto-compel us after all.
That is true. He could. But turns out Lord Butterwell really doesn't work well with authority. Beyond that, it is likely that should he begin throwing his weight around, the prince would not take too kindly to that. In this intrigue, he starts as a neutral party. You can spend one of your scenes trying to convince him to join your team, at which point he would then be available as one of the people who would sort of talk for your team. He's not an amazing talker, but he can indeed protect you from whatever shield of reputation that Butterwell might be able to throw around should he become too frustrated with something.
I mean, we could. I mean, what Butterwell has is political influence, and he has a lot of money. We could certainly be like, the
money is nice.
Money is certainly
noting
nice.
That if you win, he will also not be able to convince you to do as he likes, and you'll be free to act as you desire.
Mm-hmm. I mean, just being like, our coffers have been certainly very dry lately. So just asking him for tons of money and supplies for a coming war could be actually something that helps us. Using money, with money we can burn that to get more troops, for instance, or like we can do a lot of stuff with just money, and he certainly has a lot of that. So
it's true.
Maybe an option.
Money is nice.
Could certainly direct money your way. That would be a service. What are we trying to get from that?
Service. I don't know if there's any particular information we'd want.
Not like on top of my head. I think in this case we know more about like at least our conditions than Butterwell certainly does, and whatever he has information on the realm as a whole doesn't really affect us that much.
Service would probably be your most powerful option here, because having someone that important do something for you is generally pretty big, and having it be accomplished extreme allows you to have a lot more options than you usually would.
No. Sure. Well, getting a service then seems
What service?
reasonable to me. Well, do you have a list?
No, it would be a very long list. There's lots of things he could do for you. Take money from someone, give money to someone,
Give us
tell
a
the king
castle
something,
from Peak, please.
change his opinion about something.
Yeah, give us a free castle. That'd be great.
Admittedly, getting him to go against Peak would be pretty awesome.
It would be kind of fun, but with a lot of money, we could do some things that we have been wanting to do. Like we could land Alaric, we could even like get Deepwell Keep up and running, and like create our banner house. Even with enough money, we can certainly do that.
Money would be very nice.
And he has a lot of it. Like we can probably cajole quite a bit.
So money and then just like figure out how much when we get there.
I mean, the other one would certainly be like a political favor of some sort. The problem is, one, I don't see him sitting, like having that much influence when the fighting starts anymore. At that point, I'm pretty sure that Prince Maker is going to be like, "Listen, fatty, stand back. This is for me to take care of." So I don't think like a long-term political favor would be.
Could, for example, do what he's doing and ask him or convince him to support a different candidate for the marshes.
Good, but he has openly said that he doesn't want to like meddle openly.
You could make him do it anyway.
I guess so.
I don't think that benefits the house as much as.
Unless we put ourselves as the candidate.
We could, but you know,
have him endorse us.
Lord Halen of the Marshes.
No. Lane is, of course. Halen is going to die. What are you talking about?
What was that?
No, nothing.
don't worry about that. Don't worry.
Could certainly go for a power grab. Yeah.
Can he give us a Peak castle?
Probably
Not without Peak throwing a hissy fit and maybe starting a war early.
Someone else would probably go, Sir Butterwell, you don't have the right to do that. It's not within your powers.
Of course I do.
Because I can. I'm the hand of the king.
If the king began breaking the feudal protection of the lords, then a lot of them wouldn't like that, safe to say. Revoking their abilities to have armies and...
Crusader Kings have never told me revoking titles upsets people.
It's tyranny.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so money seems the best service to go for, in my opinion.
Money is the service that we could do use a lot of things. Like we could use it for a lot of stuff, and it wouldn't upset like any of our neighbors too much. Like the power grab is certainly funny in a way, being like, yeah, well, no, we're gonna be the Lord of the Marshes, back us.
But then that puts a giant fucking target on our back.
Yes, of course. Then we would really have to like contend with everything.
I don't know if we can handle having everyone pointing at us.
Yeah, exactly. People will be pissed if we did that.
Some people.
Yeah, we have some allies. I think Peacebird would be like, yeah, whatever, and Swan would probably be like, yeah, whatever, and Charlie would be like, fuck yeah. And then it's just Peak being pissy, and
He could be.
Appleton, well,
He could be interesting, to be sure.
Yeah.
or Ashford even.
Yeah, well, Lord Ashford doesn't really dislike us. It's his son that's.
Yeah, but everything becomes the son at a later point.
Well, it's true.
So, money or power is the real question.
Mm-hmm.
That's always a good choice set of options there.
Money seems to be the most stable and wider variety of aid than just a power grab.
That said, we do have one of the best battlefield commanders, like stat-wise, in the marches these days. So, could be like, you can't lead an army. We're like, well, have you seen Sir Alaric? He's amazing.
Yeah.
It's like leader of men and everything.
I am a leader of men. It's true.
Oh, track record pish posh. Who needs a track?
He was rusty.
Yeah, it was
Fall so that you could learn how to stand back up.
That's right. Why do we fall? Master Peaceberry.
Yeah. Because we don't have enough servants to stop you from falling.
That's right. I break all my walls by landing on top of the small folk.
Yeah, so I think money.
I'm open for both. Like the power grab is so ridiculously ambitious
Dramatic,
and ludicrous that,
yeah.
I'm sort of like, yeah.
Well, you
From
could
a story
certainly look
perspective,
at it that
From a story perspective, you kind of want to do it, don't you?
Yes, I kind of want to. I don't. It's the least feasible one, certainly.
if you get elected, then you have that. It's inherited. So until you somehow become incapable of fulfilling it, and someone is brazen enough to challenge you for it. Yeah. In addition to this, you also must remember that the prince did accept your troops, even though he was not super impressed with them. You have fulfilled your part of the bargain, and so he will also give you a favor that does not dishonor him and is within his power, basically.
Mm-hmm.
He's not the crown prince, but he's a royalty.
My initial thought was to just use that to get rid of Halen. So send him to the wall. And it's like, okay, sure. I would even further his plans, because we will be like, yeah, well, no, Halen is kind of in the way for us to serve you in this endeavor. So it would be in your interest as well.
Perhaps that can even be just done in intrigue.
Maybe you could convince him, but that's a pretty big thing for the prince to do.
Very much so, but
It's a bit of a scandal.
Yeah. Double favor, prince and the hand of the king. That
They
would be
certainly appeal to pretty different types of people.
that would make the power grab possible. If we get both of them, I think then it is very possible that we can actually do it.
Certainly befits the house's usual way of doing things by influence.
Oh man, now I kind of want to.
So Ashra, come here and
You
stand
know-
behind us as well.
I think to honor the house's history with its influence and intrigue.
Yeah.
Just need to marry someone to a Baratheon.
I'll get on it. No, actually, we've got Bree to do that, haven't we? There we go. Bree's future role.
Yeah. The hand of the king and the prince backing us for a Lord of the Marshes, and then we get rid of Halen.
Yeah.
And,
If a Baratheon can't handle Bree, I don't know who can. Let's be honest.
we're not there yet. There's a few years before that.
Imagine that child they would have.
They would be
So
the Fury.
angry.
My suggestion would be along the lines of the power grab in the sense of the Lord of the Marshes, so much as like using favors from both the prince and the hand of the king to get rid of Halen. It might be a minor scandal for the prince to do it, and it might be unseemly if the hand of the king were to do it. But if we were somehow able to form like this hybrid, horrid Frankenstein monstrosity with the two favors,
It is a bit of a Molotov pact, yeah.
It seems like two very...
Like not just a member of the royal family,
Mhm.
but also the hand of the king as well.
Mhm.
It does, like, I don't know, putting those both into that seems almost a waste.
I don't know whether it seems like a waste. It sounds like the avoiding a scandal process. Although, our family has done nothing but create scandal over the past decade or so. So
We are defined as scandals.
We were defined for a scandal.
We
From
are
a
the
scandal.
Nicki Minaj of the marshes.
On everyone's lips.
Oh no. If that okay, then I'm gonna tell Halen everything and kill Nicki Minaj.
It's very militant.
That's, well, do we
we
have
don't
to?
have the military to become Lord of the Marshes.
But we would have everyone else's.
We don't.
Yeah,
we, don't
we would
have
have to grow our army to be able to do that.
Peak would just fucking like Peak respects House Karen. Peak doesn't respect our house.
No, he doesn't.
I think the scandal to remove Halen would be the better of the options between power and that.
Mm.
Yeah. The prince could certainly do that. Quite easily, actually.
Yeah, I mean, yes. All right. Do we have to decide exactly at this point, Malachi, or can we when we because we're not even sure if we're actually going to get there?
Generally, it should be somewhat apparent from what you basically try to make them do, like in these intrigues. Like you will try to work towards something,
Mm-hmm.
and that something will likely be the end. It's not like you'll be like talking about cucumbers and suddenly he's going to war with someone.
Sure, but it's basically money or power. In
Yeah.
a way.
Yeah. I mean, you can certainly see what becomes emergent, but I think having a good idea and at least a player agreement about what to do before you actually jump into the pot, so to speak.
I think the Prince Favor could work to get rid of Halen. And the Butterwell Favor could be used to channel money towards us. If we could also spend both of them to make a power grab for the Lord of the Marshes title, we don't have the troops, which is a problem.
You only need 100 and someone to lead them.
Yes, but we also need an actual
Our political influence has been making enemies since this house's success ever so long ago in its history. People House Peak has been so angry because fucking little pissant house hasn't fucking deserved anything that it's. I guess it would pay homage to our ancestors, wouldn't it?
It would.
Piss them off to some degree.
Clan magic. We would
Yes,
improve
clan
the
magic.
clan magic, yes.
It certainly seems like a very Game of Thrones-y thing to do.
Oh, god damn it. Now I've convinced myself.
See?
The more I think about it, the more going for power would be fantastic.
Power grab it is, then I don't.
Okay.
I'm going to throw myself off a cliff now.
Do it off Penance Mountain.
It's
All
always
right.
best when you convince yourself. That's like.
I will write that down then as your desire.
Yes. And in the end of it, if you end up getting my character married to a Baratheon, I don't think she'd be mad. You know, there's some people
That's
she's
what he
not
would
mad
want
at.
from her.
You know, there's some things that she's not mad or furious at. The hand of the king and the prince were two of them whenever they visited. And she's not suicidal.
Well,
There we go.
I might have to intimidate them.
And the Baratheons are lovely people. Lovely. Well, they
If
like
you do not
animals.
support us, my lord, we will join the Blackfire and kill all of you.
Look
Oh.
at the neck of this.
Think about that if you want the 12-year-old girl to say anything to anyone today.
Look at this rabbit, my
Well,
lord.
as it turns out, again, with all these different options, you don't actually have to try to influence people. You can do all sorts of other things, like switching to combat,
Yes.
punching
Alaric,
your uncle.
Go, Yalaric, go and hit the Butterwell.
Yeah.
Caladan wants support for
Uh,
their candidate.
those knights look kind
Order
of scary.
Marshes.
And they're en masse.
15 days before the actual vote. Damn.
Now we gotta prepare. Oh, this is so ill-advised. But yes, yeah, it's
If any of you want the famous trait, this might be a reason to.
Oh yes, yes.
All right, I like this.
Yeah.
It's ambitious. Let's see if we can make it happen.
Yeah, because you might just be convinced to support Lord Dondarrion.
We
So.
might.
All right, then. He certainly wants to start with the first intrigue because he already has set that one up, and he is the Lord of the Marshes. No, he's not. He is the Hand of the King, and he's very important and such.
We see his power.
He has basically said he will have 2 people. You can then select 2 people that you want to have to participate, and he will have them be in the council room to talk to you.
Well,
Good choice.
we can't really escape it. So
I don't think we want to send Bree up here instead of.
no. This is the
Ooh.
yes.
Yes.
This is. Hold on, I got this. I can't believe I'm about to fucking suggest this.
I guess.
Okay.
Okay, all right. I have an idea.
Hugo?
So. No, I can't.
Yes.
God.
can't.
I mean, it's too late now.
Yeah, you kind of got to now.
I'm gonna paraphrase it. Something about spending a destiny point to impress Lord Butterwell with something that might gravely interest him. But I
Like
can't think
cakes?
of anything.
My lord, there's cakes in the kitchen. He's like, ooh, my.
Yes, I was actually thinking something to that effect, where push all of the peas aside and Bree, from her time in cooking, this is the one time that this is really going to matter.